What's up, Nova Heads? It's Amber Nova.
This is Chris Lights Out Lytle.
Hi, this is Ray Boom Boom Mancini.
Ice Boogie.
It's the real and raw August Artois.
This is Smiling Sam Alvey.
It's Archimedes.
I'm Jack Cartwheel, the real deal, the human highlight reel.
This is Steve Mowry.
I'm Victor Henry.
Floyd Bulletproof Troop.
Billy Stark.
It's ECW Original, The Enforcer, C.W. Anderson.
This is Honest John.
Hyper Street.
I'm Luis Moreno. And
it's Mr. Classic.
And Noe.
I'm Jason Poulet.
The young ghost.
Peace!
It's old Hattie Price here.
When I say what's my name, Snipes.
Richie Slade.
My name is Gino Rivera, the Frank Sinatra of the Spanish Mafia.
Incredible one, Anthony Idol.
This is Ken Shamrock.
The Golden Boy, Jordan Clearwater.
Yo, watch and listen.
Championship Online.
Podcast with
this is Alex Mars here. Hi, Richard Modest.
So, please listen to it, otherwise be cursed. Okay, see you later. Love that, Dennis.
So again, guys, thank you so much for hopping on the podcast, man. I'm very happy that you guys are here. Firstly, I want to get the kind of the beginning of you guys' story. Like, how did you first get introduced into pro wrestling? Like, was it like family member or friend? Like, how did you first start watching wrestling?
Oh man, yeah.
So we had a uncle. His name was Mark. And he was the one that really started, like, he liked wrestling. And so when we were young, about 6-7 years old or so, or now it might have been maybe like 8 or 9 actually, he used to have it on and just be like, hey, sit down and watch this.
I was about to say, let me also say that, as twins being that young, it's hard. You got to get two kids' attention and make them both calm down. You know what I'm saying? So
watching us, like, hey, let me get these kids sit down and watch.
Yeah, how can I make them just stop wilding out? Yeah, exactly. And wrestling just got us to sit down, and we just were like, man, who's this guy? Who's this guy?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, me personally, I got a song talking about it as well. But like,
yeah, you do.
I was big. For me, it was Undertaker. I think it was you get that Hulk Hogan's the man. And he's on every cover of the, because we used to go to the video store and just rent, we were trying to do like so much research, like, cause we were like, how much of this wrestling have we missed out on? Like, we
don't know what's canon. We don't know what's recent. We would just see a bunch of these tapes and we would watch them out of order, but just be like, wanting to catch up on as much wrestling as we're like, how long has this been out here? Like,
It was clearly like
the favorite, right?
Yeah, it was on every box or whatever. But for me, I just always remember the Survivor Series that Undertaker came in, and then a little after that, because he was, the immortal Hulk Hogan, but dead guy, who's clearly immortal.
He said, "Hold my beer."
Looking like a spaghetti western, and
it
ends up beating him a year later,
like Tombstone status.
And takes the strap, and I just remember thinking, like, that's the guy. Like, he's the guy. Like, he beat Hulk Hogan.
It's a hell of a first impression. I'll admit.
Exactly. So for me, I just was like, that's who brought me to the dance, was Undertaker. And there was like, I'm one of those guys that I'm not naive. I know he didn't have, his whole career wasn't like, flawless. And some people have their favorite parts and different,
renditions
of
variations.
But I was, at the time,
you were diehard, bro. You were diehard for sure.
Black and purple all day, bro. You know what I mean?
Like sometimes the gray, depending on what's going on.
I for Halloween a couple times.
Yeah, you did. You did.
The wig on, the gloves. I went on with the socks on the outside. So I think I was always in since then. So, but
and then like, I mean, our family comes from a Jamaican background, so like, they love wrestling out there too. So huge wrestling fans in Jamaica. So it was like we would get it from both sides, and like, they would let us watch. My mom didn't care. Again, it was something that like, my mom being a single mom, she's like, whatever's gonna calm them down. You know what I mean? So
just out the street. Just from fighting each other.
Besides trying wrestling moves, like trying to DDT each other on the bed and shit. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where like we really grew up into it. Like I remember like he even says like even though we could tell Hogan was the guy for me, it was like Macho was like a way more interesting guy. I'm like, yo, I get Hulkamania, he does the whole thing, all yeah, but I'm like, but this guy with the promos, man,
promos alone,
you know what I mean? Like, but for me, it was I fell in love with Shawn Michaels. And Razor Ramon, like close. They're like, if I couldn't do two in the top one position, to be 1 and 1.2. You know what I mean? Because those are my two guys for sure. But I remember watching Shawn versus Vader, and I remember it's funny now. I watched the same match I watch now. I'm like, oh yeah, oh he botched, and he's mad at him right there. And I as a young kid, I never noticed it, but that same match, watching Shawn like beat him, I'm like, yo, the fact that this smaller guy was able to beat this bigger guy, I'm like. And there's something about this kid. And I just always like Shawn. Like, I don't know. It was something about that. Then you grew up knowing about all the other stuff. You're like, still a Shawn fan, but you know, I don't support that stuff, but yeah. You know what I mean?
Fourth wall breaking.
No, just the wrestler, not the person.
So that's probably, I would say that's right when we got in
and we kind of
8 or 9 or so.
Yeah, like I don't know. And from there, we just kind of never really wavered. Like sometimes we stopped watching for a little bit if it was just like whatever, but we always, you know what I mean? We never not, you know.
Good 3 years where I was like, that happened? I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
You know? But,
yeah, there's a few of those for me too. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. And I mean, we always just loved it. We always got made fun of for liking it. I don't know, man. Like, it was kind of hard to like not. Like it was just so conditioned, right? Like we just always would watch it, and then like to not watch it, it was like always. It sounds dumb, but I used to be like, I'm gonna miss out on all the new cool wrestlers that you know what I mean? Like,
to be fair, it's like the way back then when we got really into it, the schedule was Mondays was obviously Nitro and Raw, and then I think Thursdays were Thunder,
Wednesdays.
There was
Wednesdays was Thunder.
No,
Thursdays was SmackDown.
No. Yeah, you're right. Wednesdays were Thunder, Thursdays were SmackDown. Although I thought Thunder was the same day as SmackDown, but Fridays were ECW. And like, so we would just be like, man, F Tuesday. We're trying to get to the rest, you know.
Which so, ironically, they filmed Thunder on Tuesdays to play Wednesdays.
Yeah, right.
So it was just like so. But yeah, it was like wrestling all day, every day, dude. Like I don't know.
If you didn't watch it, it felt weird.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah.
But even now, to be able to do what we do now, it's a dream, you know what I mean? Like it's funny because a lot of people would say, like people used to tell us, man, you guys are living the dream. I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean we're living the dream? Like, I don't. And then, but then when you stop and think as a wrestling fan, you're like, yeah, this is kind of cool, man. But you know, it's like the bigger
getting the time to stop.
Yeah, the bigger, yeah, because it's always the bigger responsibility of making sure we're doing what's best for the brand and putting out like again like the best we can for the fans and stuff like that. So we try not to get lost in the sauce too much, you know. So.
And also like being such big wrestling fans, was there ever a time where you guys did consider like being wrestlers? And
And then
I'll let him tell.
and then I got well, for me personally, I ended up getting a what they call a stinger, but I didn't know that at the time. we had tryouts for like the actual high school wrestling team, so I'm thinking, oh man, I've been training for this my whole life, right? Right? I know exactly what I'm about to do. I go to shoot on somebody because I know what shooting is and all that. So I go to shoot on some dude. I remember it was Sam Ree. If you're listening and watching this for some reason, I still owe you a receipt, brother. But I remember I pick him up and he grabs me like a DDT. And so when I go to slam him, I pretty much DDT myself. And I remember just being like days, you're like, hey, you go sit. So you cool? I'm like, yeah. No, and they're like, yeah, go sit down in the corner and get some air. I'm like, yeah, I'll go sit down and get some air. Like, so that was the end of it for me. But like wrestling with him, that came, that came natural. As far as for real, I don't know.
Like, I'm just gonna call a spade. Like, I was the bigger twin growing up, so
whatever. Man.
I definitely him.
Yeah, no, okay, that, yeah. He would German suplex me without me allowing him to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, usually you get, bro, oh my God, he would just like throw me over his shoulder and just keep walking and not even watch how I landed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I'm like, and then he's like, I'm like, oh, you got me.
But no, it was definitely something we were interested in. I just think what it was too, also in high school, I personally had a back injury that was like, it was serious enough where I was told not to do any contact sports. So that's not the case now. You know, I think it's just one of those things where it's just a difference of the years, you know, and we're talking in the early 2000s, you know, so I've been good since, but it's funny because a lot of times when we go out to do promo runs and we'll go to places like Frankensons and stuff, and a lot of people think we are talented dropping off flyers because of our stature. You know, I'm 6 foot, he's 6 foot, you know, so it's one of those things where I say never say never. Well, we've like taken bumps and stuff like necessary for like whether it's a music video or just illustrate or like to show someone else, hey, this is what we want you to do. So we've never been afraid of that, but like I've never, you know, well, we did work one match against each other. I actually forgot about that.
It was his bachelor party.
Yeah, we he was in charge. He was my best man, and so for the bachelor party, he rented out this
like a moon bounce,
bounce house. But we had a referee and everything, and it was all called on the fly. We just kind of knew when to go home and what the finish was, but it was like, and, you know, and we definitely got hurt. You know, because
the next day we were like, I'm
like
sorry.
We were training for this thing, you know what I'm saying? So
well, you didn't know until you walked in either. It wasn't like I could tell you.
But what was dope was this guy goes and he digs into crates, gets like people that know our love of the fandom and like creates his own like vignette.
A little promo package,
package like me, like, you know, Bachelor Mania, like, you know, and so it was dope, you know, but it was really fun, and like, you know, that was one of my favorite times, and you know,
had a ball pit,
the ball pit, that was fun.
That was
and
awesome.
then afterwards, I cut a real Dusty Road /
I
with
forgot about that
a tear
part.
in my eye.
Yeah.
But it was because it was fun, and it was off the top of my dome, and but it was just one of those things because I, you know, not only was it, you know, he had a lot of people there to play the crowd, there's signs and stuff. It was like totally by surprise, you know. But that was probably one of the only times we've ever.
Yeah, that's the closest, right?
Said,
yeah.
You know, dude, we should take this on the road, like do Bachelor Manias for like other
for other bachelor
married, like that'd be dope, you know, type of thing. So who knows? Maybe that's a.
I miss my calling as a part of a wedding planner, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Like,
so, but yeah, man.
That's awesome. That's so funny. And what was you guys' ring names?
So we always kind of.
I was gonna say we still create each other on like on 2K, right? Yeah.
I mean, we still went by like our stage names with music, so it's Jones versus Doc Lesnar, but sometimes we'll go by like, you know, because when you create yourself in these games, they only have so many names in the name.
Yeah, like you want to call names. So
unlike the game, I think I'm like Doc Cannon, not Doc Lesnar.
I'm Kid Showtime because one of my old rap names was something the Kid. So I just like whatever. I'll pick some, you know, that sounds kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, as far as like I think my name was Cracker Jack back in the day. I wanted to be a hardcore wrestler, right?
Yeah, mine was Rough Rider.
Rough Rider and Cracker Jack. And then and our cousin was 40 ounce. Yeah. Shout out to 40 ounce, man. Yeah, we're perfect trio right there.
Nice.
Oh man. Yeah. I don't even know what my move was back in the day. I couldn't tell you either.
Always some variation of the stuff.
Yeah, no, to this day.
It's called the chin check.
Yeah, to this day. That has always been the case.
I said that today, actually. Yeah.
Oh man.
What you guys are gonna be the next tag team or what?
Yeah, we were a tag team. Yeah, it was just me and him, so we just wrestled each other like a bunch of times. But
right? Exactly, because you gotta have a good partner and like, you know,
someone you can trust with your body.
Yeah, because we thought of names, and now like as an adult, like later on, like wait a second, that was a tag team. You combine both names because he went by AJ Wave, and I went by RM Cool. I'm like, wait, that's Cool Wave. Like that's a Cali team right there.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. See, I like stuff like that. You gotta make it work, you know, be cohesive, and then you show the cohesiveness in the ring. See, continuity, bro.
I was like, they be trying to force too many stuff together.
That's why it just didn't work. See, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, no. We didn't even have a tag team name back then. Actually, now I think about it. Yeah, that's how do we not have to?
I don't know.
We were not thinking straight.
But it's also like we both do music, but we only have one
album together.
Well,
we have a mixtape together too. Yeah. So we only have 2 projects together,
which is insane.
Yeah, that is insane.
Ever.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then, you know, like mentioning, you know, earlier, you know, you guys were doing stuff for Rival. Was that like the first time that you guys kind of got into wrestling business to start working with wrestling companies?
Yeah. I would say, yeah, that was kind of like our introduction. You know, shout out to everyone over there, you know, Ad and Rob. Shout out to you know, Uriah.
Yeah.
You know, just it was a couple of guys, man, and you know, we were talking about the concept, and we were all kind of brought in to kind of make the concept into something real. And you know, Rival Pro was born, and you know, we all invested in it, and it was cool. You know, it was a great. I always like anytime we get asked about it, we just credit our time with Rival because it was like what, about 5 years total we were with them.
Yeah.
So it's like we credit it as kind of getting like a firsthand education. You know what I mean, in the business, like. During that time, like, you know, like I put like this, if it wasn't for Rival, we would have never been able to get our break in terms of getting an opportunity to try out what it'd be like to try to do commentary. And we did it one time, we did it multiple times, and we started doing it like out of state for different you know, promotions as well. You know what I mean? So it ended up being real, you know, kind of a cool thing where a ball kept spinning and rolling into different things momentum wise, where it went from that to then, you know, because I'm real big on like media and video creation and stuff like that. I didn't really have an outlet for it, and then I'm like, oh shit, well, we got this wrestling thing, maybe I can kind of start to do something with that. And
apply some of that
you know, and so, you know, that kind of became a thing. But yeah, with Rival, it was again, we don't take anything away from our experience being there. You know, we put on a lot of great matches, a lot of great events and everything. After a while, you know, especially during the pandemic, things kind of slowed down, obviously. And that's kind of when we started having the idea of wanting to kind of branch out and do our kind of like I don't want to say that, you know, our own thing, but just something different. We wanted to kind of implement more storyline type stuff while in Rival, like creatively, but not everybody
was on board.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Which is not a bad thing. You know what I mean? Some people look at, just because we're 4 people that want to do something, we may have 4 different visions of how we look at that, you know?
Taste, I think.
Yeah.
And you know, I agree with you. I will never take away my time with that company.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We really did, you know, networking with a lot of
learned a lot. Yeah.
Talents. And I mean, that's how we were able to see some of the guys we ended up using, you know, for our first show, in terms of guys that we saw great potential in. Which I think we chose well because there was a very good reception on the card and so forth. So, but yeah, I agree. I think it's a thing where towards the end, it might have been a situation of too many cooks, maybe. But we wanted to try a different recipe, is what I'll say. And yeah, it's been real fun, you know, just staying and adding different things and really making the recipe ours, is what I'll say. So, but yeah, I would take the experience and time we got with Rival and say that was basically us paying our tuition to go to wrestling college.
Yeah, wrestling school, right?
And now, you know, the one thing I say a lot with that is we didn't so much start over, you know, from scratch with Winter Circle. We started from experience, and you know, and that's why I can't take away anything from our time from Rival Pro, you know. So
yeah, I mean,
got a lot of experience and a lot of know-how,
especially for me too, because my experience with Rival allowed me to work with other promotions too, more in the Orange County area. You know, shout out to Gold Coast Federation, OCCW as well. And like, even like, you know, a lot of people, well, yeah, I was there doing commentary. I was getting like camera work done. I was editing for them and stuff. I was a ref for a match at one point, you know what I mean? Ring announce. I did like 3 jobs at once, you know, but it was one of those things where it's like, I did it because like the experience, I loved it. You know what I mean? I did probably everything but like be a wrestler, you know what I mean? So, which a lot of people may not know, but that's, you know, that's the thing. It's like, that was our biggest thing. Not that we care more about our impression. We know that sometimes the impression of people who come out with a promotion, it gets a little bit warped when it comes to the talent. Not so much for like the audience, the public, because with the talent, I know they kind of, they're looking at people that are like, okay, these must be a bunch of fans with money, when it's like, no, dude, like we have an appreciation for this. We've kind of, you know, we built, you know, paid our dues in a sense, doing different things and you know, been behind the curtain enough to know how things work. And Yeah, we put up rings, dude. Look, we freaking.
We've done all kinds of stuff.
There's
really
to
humble ourselves to learn. This
yeah, no, you're right.
We've been fans of forever, you know.
Because I'm sure that they fight it all the day. You know what I mean? They probably get a bunch of people that hit them up to try to do stuff, and everyone wants to be a part of something and stuff like that. But yeah, that was kind of the biggest thing for us is we wanted people to let people know, like, no, this is coming from an appreciation for what you guys do. We're not here for you guys to benefit us. We're here to try to help benefit you guys. You know what I mean? So, but that's been kind of like the kind of the biggest thing, you know what I mean, for us is just coming with respect, transparency when we talk to everybody and stuff like that. And it's just been one of those things, man. Like I said, like with Rival, it taught us so much to how we, deal with things now and everything. And that's why, we have, let it be heard here. Like, I don't want to hear about any narrative being spun. Like, we'll always support Rival no matter what's going on. You know what I mean? So, really, I mean, because again, like you said, we learned a lot, do's and don'ts, so, and that's just not experience you can buy really, so yeah, hats off to them for sure.
Awesome. And especially, I have to ask, who came up with the name Winner Circle?
It's kind of crazy. So the Winner Circle terms kind of bounced around in our like, not for a bad pun, but our circle of friends for a while. We kind of christened our circle of friends that, in a sense, like, and when I say circle of friends, more or less like our music on the music side. And I even had a record called Winner Circle, which is kind of all this is like very serendipitous, and we're talking maybe 6-7 years ago. This song, was out, and but when my brother and I, and then we have our third partner, Mark. We're great. He's one of our close friends. We used to kind of do this, thing of just shooting, and being on the couch watching wrestling. Talk about why that didn't work, kind of quarterbacking it.
How we would have done it better, right? Like everybody else, right? Yeah.
I think it just became a thing of, it kind of became more than that, where it became more consistent, but that became sort of like the building blocks to what led us to our podcast of sorts. But then
from there, we started kind of doing it with the podcast too.
It gave us a platform to talk about the main roster stuff, but then it didn't really quell the desire to do something on our own, and so but it was just one of those things where I'll give a lot of credit to Kwency over here, because he did a lot of the groundwork to get Winner Circle going, and I think it was just one of those things where we kind of tossed around that name. I was like, yeah, that has a good ring to it, but we never said we want to be the new WCW or anything like that. I love the WCW because we watched that growing up, but we didn't want that stigma, and then the stigma of WCPW, and so we wanted to etch our own thing. So that's why we thought Winner Circle Pro Wrestling, or Winner Circle Pro, however people want to try to remember us for. The logo, once you see it, with the gold and the white, I feel like it just really stands for a lot, and you kind of know what you're going to get from a quality standpoint. And Kwency, he did a lot of the groundwork, and I just remember the day he hit us up in the group chat we have and was like, yo, check this out and look at this logo. And then it went from logos to trademark paperwork, and it goes to trademark paperwork to, hey, check out these belt designs. And it's like, whoa, okay, this is getting real. Like, you're doing belts, you know what I'm saying? And then,
which I remember, I remember that, because
serious do we want to do this?
Because they were like, well, wait, what about the belt? I'm like, don't worry, I'm paying for it. Like, okay, but what happens? I'm like, dude, I at least want to pay for it. So if nothing happens now, I at least already have the paperwork. And if I want to do it later in life, then I already have, some of the work's done. You know what I mean? I'm like, but I got to do something instead of just, I don't know. It was one of those things where I'm like, I don't want to be sitting here 10 years later. Oh, we should have done that. And I'm like, well, it's better that I tried and failed. You know what I mean? And I could sit on that. I could be like, well, I tried it, and I could tell, oh, I wish I could have done this a little different, but at least I did it, as opposed to, damn, I should have done it. So
like, you got the bell where it's like proof of concept, so at least you can go, well, this what could have been, instead of like having it just trapped in your mind.
Yeah, I mean,
speaking, so
and the Winner Circle thing, obviously, I think you probably touched on it. It was just always, I don't know, like I said, the name just stuck, because we used to kind of talk about it in our music, where we used to always have like a little small, like we did like a little makeshift like logo of it, just to kind of like, I don't know, it was one of those things where we just kind of took pleasure in like, oh, there's this little clique that people don't know about, you know what I mean? Like just something we would joke about amongst ourselves. So the fact that it kind of, you know, full circle, I guess pun intended, came to the winner circle, and I was like, this actually sounds like a cool name. And I don't know, it just stuck. And then kind of like what you said, it kind of gives you an idea of not necessarily just quality, but like a standard of wrestling that we want to present. You know what I mean?
You know what? I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought people were going to think the name was a mouthful, but I mean, once we kind of went live, the amount of people that have hit us up that are like, hey, I would love to work for your company one day. It was like, we don't even have like video. We haven't had put out a match yet.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, it's cool to see what that sounds like to people. You know, I don't want to say like it brings prestige, but like you said, it kind of shows the standard maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, like even like when I'll see some of the talent, the way that they promote with their flags, they're like, oh, can't wait to step in the winner's circle. I'm like, man, that sounds great. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know, it kind of, it just worked out in different, just for the sake of the name is, people are messing with it, man. I don't know. Yeah, it's just one of those things.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know I speak for both of us, but we love the name and we love the logo. We like it stands out, it's clean and it's just awesome name and and coming from, like you said, from Rival and doing commentary, what was it like for you guys to kind of like switch roles and now be the booking and then be the promoter and building up the card? Like, what was that process? Because you guys know, like, there's so many good talent in California. So what was it like? Kind of like the process? Was it a lot of like watching videos and scouting? Like, what was that whole process?
Actually with the scouting, like everyone that you saw in the first show, they've been on a list and multiple lists that we've made for like the last 5 years. Is this how long we've been planning this thing? So like everyone that we had in mind for the first show is by, it's on purpose, it's with intent, and people that we either are looking to invest in or try to present a certain way because we see something in them, you know what I mean? So with that, that we scouted a lot. We watched a lot of tape. So, but that was always something we did because as commentary, people who weren't doing commentary, they wouldn't understand that we're like, well, no, we need to do tape. So we sound like we know what we're talking about. We can't just be like, oh, it's this guy and a clothesline and he ducks down. It's like, well, we need to talk about maybe a backstory. Okay, what is this guy's background? What kind of fighting style does he know? Like, we would watch tape already kind of for that. Like, what's the name of his move called? Let's at least,
that's was crazy. I think when we used to do the commentary, go around to talent. We wanted to take the initiative. Like, hey, what's up, man? What's your nickname? What is there a moniker you want us to get over on commentary? What's the name of your finish? And sometimes they'd be like, well, doesn't matter. I'm not winning or I'm not hitting it. It's like, well,
you're gonna go for it though, right? At some point, or
well, it's called this, and you could see that they were baffled that we even cared about those details. But I think that's been the biggest thing, is we've always been about the smaller details. Now, going back to the question more specifically, though we did do, I think visually the day of the show, people remember us for commentary. We have always been there for booking decisions and creative decisions. It's just like I said, sometimes not all the ideas get pushed through. But we have always been there to cast a vote, suggest people, things like that. So that part on the booking end is not something that we had to like get used to in terms of putting on different hats, you know what I'm saying? But I think being more the majority,
I was about to say the amount of response time, that's kind of been,
I would say, it's definitely shifted. It's a lot grander, and I think that's the biggest difference. Is I would say, I work 5 days a week, regular job, full time, but I'm literally promoting. Like, I mean, you guys see how much we promote. A lot of it while I'm at my actual job, so. There's not a lot of time besides when we're sleeping that we're not thinking about this company and figuring out different things, schematics for the seat formations. Small thing,
even we're thinking about stuff for the shows after the next show. You know what I mean? Like we've been, it's been one of those things where
most of our meetings have been for other shows that aren't even coming up yet.
So
we're trying to write and get things exciting for you guys.
But that's another thing that I will say that I felt like was a little bit personally missing from like some of the stuff we were doing when it came to the booking decisions with Rival. Is sometimes we wouldn't always be on a call or meet in person all the time to kind of get full ideas over, other than like just through a message or something. But we have like kind of regularly scheduled calls, which is another kind of thing, like, you know, just you know, and we like to kind of just you know, like we format our ideas for the shows and stuff like that too. So a lot of that stuff is just stuff that we didn't know that we were gonna have to do, but now that we think about it, we hop on it and take initiative. And like, it's been I think that's the other part about it, is like we've been like, well, we're gonna have to worry about this and this across the board, and then we'll decide, do we need to, and then if so, in what way, what regard, and you know, and how high of a regard we go about, you know, dealing with it and stuff. So definitely going from commentary investor to now you know, majority, you know, co-owners of a company, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's, but I wouldn't trade the experience, because I mean, like, and when I say it was a little overwhelming, it's like the emails, like you said, you know, it's just we were getting emails like crazy.
No, real talk, like the amount we got from when we announced the rollout for Winter Circle to, like, we'll say the week of it was written, was already getting exponential. After it was written, like the amount, you know, whether it's people that were had friends on the card, like, and from a talent standpoint, we had fans in their DMs thanking us, thanks for putting on this show. And it was like, like I'll put it this way, the amount of fan outreach we had made me think I was not a good wrestling fan, because I'm like, I've never reached out to a wrestler,
right?
Like, hey man, thanks for putting your body on the line like that, or so, you know. And I was just very like perplexed by that reception type of thing. But I think that's what's so cool about I'd say the biggest difference is, I think there's the responsibility helps you, I think, rounds out the appreciation for how hard you're working on it.
It definitely keeps you humble, because you love the fact that, I mean, that there's a certain joy that you can take, and pleasure you can take in, you know. I think we put on a great show. I felt like everything went pretty cool. It was a little rocky at first, but then when you get the flood of messages, you're like, man, people really did enjoy themselves. And you know what? I can finally take a minute, not think about the future, to kind of bask in it for a few. I'm like, man, we kind of pulled that off, man. That was kind of cool. Like, we did something that people really think is cool and appreciate. And I'm like, man, this makes me even motivated even more to get the next one just right. And let's just continue this momentum and continue this quality of entertainment that we can, you know, hope to continue. Exactly, to provide for the fans and stuff, especially because it's in a venue that hasn't been used in quite some time for pro wrestling, and close to home for us, you know, in Chino. So it's like, I feel like there's another added responsibility to kind of help bring more wrestling to that home base, you know what I mean, too. So that's another cool part about it as well, man.
And yeah, like, you know, for us, like, because we're in Rancho Cucamonga, so there's really not that much wrestling around here. So we're like in Chino, like, oh yes, finally, like somewhere close, because we have to usually go to LA.
Dude, see, you know? and that's one of the things I was trying to say. Like, when we first started rolling out, I'm like, you know, I'm excited to help bring some pro wrestling back into the IE, because like, I feel like a lot of it is, unless like, you know, WWE's in town for like at the Ontario, you know, the arena, the Toyota, you know, or
Riverside Municipal.
You know, it's like, like you're right. We usually have to go either all the way to like the Long Beaches or to like the Los Angeles.
When we first started with Rival, that's the thing, is our presence was
that's true,
Pomona.
Yeah, that's very true.
But we kind of got pushed out of Pomona, in the sense, and
it was like city politics,
not by a promotion, by like, I would say city politics at the time. And now, you know, the place that we used to run, Prestige runs there all the time, and XPW runs there all the time, you know. So it's kind of crazy how things have changed in over 5-6 years.
Does that work? Prestige? I know they do it. Prestige does a lot of Glass House shows.
Maybe
too.
Not Prestige, but
Glass House,
the Derby room. Or whatever.
Yeah, the XPW is in the Derby room for sure.
We moved to like the, you know, as Rival to the Baldwin Park area. But again, it moves the, you know, and I think even before then we were in LA, and so you kind of move the target audience away. So, but at the same time, we were able to still garner that support. But I'm always thinking the same thing as you guys. Like, man, like I love wrestling, and I'll always, you know, drive to LA if I got to. You know, like, we're gonna do it for, you know, Mania's. We're going to night 2. You know what I mean? So we know we're gonna have to face all that horrible traffic. But
Yeah.
I also get the man. It'd be great if something was closer. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's something we could provide.
No,
to
yeah,
guys like you or people that in surrounding areas.
Yeah, very valuable feedback, and I definitely appreciate that, guys, for sure.
No, absolutely, and we loved it, and because like sometimes you go to shows and it's like usually the main event is usually the match of the night, but for this one, like Rich and I were like, man, they're all great, it was so hard to pick one because they're all so great.
Man, I'm glad, yeah, because the whole thought process behind the matchmaking. I mean, again, it's three cooks. You know what I mean? It's just me, my brother, and our buddy Mark. So it was like we sat there and we looked at the card and we're like, okay, we're good with this card. And then I remember I'd ask periodically as the months came by, because we announced it in November. So I'm like, it'd be like cutting into December. I'm like, oh, that's true. Yeah.
And we were like,
ooh,
that's
stiff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same night. But I remember once they announced their card, I liked their card, but I still felt confident about
delivering something different.
Yeah. The guys we were using and then knowing how we were going to use them
going forward.
I was like, as long as we get the people here, we got something, obviously we were able to get you guys in the building, man. And what I'll say is this too, is I would say that's the biggest difference between doing Creative with Rival and doing this with Winter Circle. And probably my biggest reason, I'm sure you could agree too, is being, my brother and I, we're creatives, to the bone. And I think after a while with Rival, it felt like we were just putting matches together for the sake of, I'm not mad at putting on dope cards for the fans, but we wanted a reason why. And so I always will be confident saying that with Winter Circle, we get to provide the why. Why are these guys fighting? What are the stakes? Why does he have a problem?
Why should I care that they're fighting?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
and I feel like sometimes there's not a lot of that in the indie scene. It's more about how can you keep them coming back, and I feel like we can do that while still incorporating stories. Now we're only running quarterly right now, but we're hoping to to get a little bit more
stuff
consistent.
up. Yeah,
but even
it's
then,
our first year,
exactly. But we're not afraid to try to do it, and we feel like we're going to do a good job reminding the viewers that were there what happened last time. So it's more of a, I know what's going on. I'm here to see what's his name get what kicked out of him.
And that's another why, right? That's another why right there. Is like, why do I want to see this guy get his ass whipped? You know what I mean? Like, so yeah. Yeah, I had to wholeheartedly agree, man, because it's like, again, nothing against Rival at all, but it's like
that wasn't being scratched after
it's that, and then then you, as a fan, because we are wrestling fans at the end of the day, you had to take a kind of a step back and be like, yeah, it's great to put on these great dream matches, but I'm like, there's a lot of other promotions that are doing the same thing, you know what I mean? And we didn't personally thought that we had more that we could offer to help us not get lost in the shuffle. Not to say that they are, but there's always that fear because there's again, I was talking about it earlier. There's always the
no shortage of indie.
Well, I was gonna say promotions. They get freaking printed out on paper nowadays. You know what I mean? They just there's so many that come out, but then but they come and they go, and sometimes you don't see a lot of them last. So it's just one of those things where with Winter Circle, we're like, look, we understand there's a lot of alternatives out there. Let us prove to you why you can put money on us, and
as one of those,
or at least be a top priority in your choices for the weekend, because we know there's going to be other shows we're going to be running up against and stuff like that. And that's the thing too, is we're open to working with people too, man, and we're not here to step on toes
at all,
but yeah, we are here to make our footprint, you know what I mean? So if we can do that without stepping on toes, then that's what we're going to do. You know what I mean? So
and especially it was written with such a great show, and you guys crowned the champion that night.
Yeah,
man. So Kubrick defeating Lucas Wright. Give me your thoughts on it. Having Kubrick as your champion.
Yeah, man.
It's tough because
best kept secret.
Yeah. It's one of those things. So what I like about the way we're doing things is we're really getting in touch with these talents and really collaborating on this stuff. And so that was one of the hardest things to keep under wraps because we've always known the plan. And so then when it comes to, it's the game day, you're like, okay, well, you could plan all day and practice. Is this going to work? And I just remember it to me watching it felt like
we're like
slow motion.
Well, we're like everybody else. We were, like you said, like we didn't get a chance to run through it. Like we just had to have trust in everyone in their parts.
Yeah,
they
knew,
like everybody else.
They knew what they had to do, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
We didn't have any run through anything like that. I think, with Slice getting involved and because that's the thing is when we first started rolling this out, we had big eyes on Slice being as a centerpiece of this company.
That promo he cut, there was like a lot of truth in everything he was saying in that promo.
Until he went down with that injury, and it really, I remember that we felt like now we got to push back Winter Circle because he's on the shelf.
Yeah, we were so when I said we were looking for like 5 years of like talent scouting and stuff, like Slice was always on our I'm like, this guy's gonna be our champ. Like, I don't know why he's not our champ anywhere else. Like this guy's so top notch, just promos. We knew that he was our guy, and then when he went down, we're like, oh no.
And he was Santino. He was Santino's champ too when he went down.
True.
So,
very true,
but yeah, I mean, once we got a chance to talk to him, we were just trying to go through the list, and Dom Kubrick's a guy we've worked with at Rival. I've always been a fan of his. I like a lot of the stuff he's done, especially with stuff with Santino's Championship Wrestling in Hollywood with Halston Body. I think it's one of those things where he saw a good opportunity to maybe change it up in terms of character. And so we were excited for that because we know the presentation of Dom that we're used to in other feds and promotions, and he and Slice were willing to take a gamble. And I think the hardest part was to just keep the wool over everyone's eyes. But I'm really excited the prospect of Dom being the guy, because I don't believe he's ever been trusted to have the strap, and I feel like I got all the faith in the world with him, with or without Slice Boogie in his corner. And just stay tuned, man, because we got a lot of fun stuff coming up for you guys.
It's hard not to I'm trying to keep everything you know what I mean?
Kayfabe, bro, kayfabe.
You know what I mean? But it was like that, the way that whole thing came together, I mean, it was just chef's kiss at the like with the way having to again watch it unfold, and then at the same time I'm on commentary with my buddy Mark, having to call it, knowing what's going to happen, but having to wait for certain cues. I was like, oh man, this is beautiful. This is just, and then I was able to look around at the crowd, and I saw the way certain people's faces were at certain points. I'm like, oh man, this is going
and I gotta
exactly
say
how we wanted
a lot of credit to Slice, because
he's
a guy that's really big on small details, and there was a lot of small changes the day of, that was just verbally communicated,
that
and
you wouldn't even have thought of, but because
definitely made the difference.
But yeah, that whole thing, I mean, again, we could probably go on if we
I think because all the talent are as invested as we are, it makes it very fun, like a passion project for everyone involved.
The fact that they're just as excited about it as we are, and then also excited to because we invite input too, you know what I mean? We always say I mean, unless you're not comfortable with that, or you think maybe there's something different, or maybe you think there's someone else that could play this part or whatever, you know what I mean? Sometimes we'll ask if there's someone that they're more comfortable with, or something
have in mind
more natural for them, right? But it's that's the part where it gets real exciting, is kind of breaking that ice and gaining that trust factor with them, to let them for them to allow us to kind of plan stuff for them character wise, and them trusting us oh, okay. Because a lot of the, like you said, the conversations we have is more than just, hey, hi, what's your booking rate? And and all right, cool, man. Would love to have you come for this show. It's we'll overextend a little bit and well, this is what we see. What are your thoughts on this? And then their reaction to that investment has been very positive. So it's that, again, that part of it is definitely been fun. But yeah, all I can say, to iterate my brother, is we could probably go on for days, and I don't want to give up too much, but yeah, sit back and watch what we got planned for the Dom saga, the Dom and Slice hour. Yeah, we got some stuff for sure, man. So yeah, excited, honestly, really excited for
the Slice and Kubrick show.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? But they knocked it out the park, and I couldn't have been happier the way it came out.
Oh yeah, we loved it, and especially and you're right, because we've been watching Kubrick for such a long time, both of them, him and Boogie, for years, and I feel like promotion didn't really trust Kubrick pulling his strap, and it's when he won, it's finally, because he is talented and he's a great wrestler, so finally seeing him, I'm excited to see what he's gonna do as champion, and especially with him and Slice. They've been rivals, because everyone's seen them in other promotions, and now oh my god, they're teaming together. So
that's why I think that was one thing we were like, we want to make sure that we give somebody like the ending. We want to add, we either want to get people mad, but we want to make sure that they're asking questions and they want to see what's going to happen next time to answer those questions, right? And yeah, that was something that, again, it was nothing a part of the original plan, but the way it all came together organically like that.
Man, I'm sorry, you guys, you give me. I'm like so pumped because like I'm just thinking about all the conversations we've been having, like for the because it's good to hear that you guys have such anticipations for it, because again, you never know how
the fans feel.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really excited. Like you guys seem like you're all in on to see what's happening next, and I'm very excited to show you what's going to happen next for sure. Man,
yeah, because I mean that's one thing I will say is when we did announce that as the main event for our first championship match,
there was a lot of love.
People, a lot of people were like, "Oh man, this is going to be a good match," you know what I mean? And then we already knew that we're going to put a banger up, but yeah, the way that people were reacting to it and they were excited for both of them to get that opportunity, I was happy because I'm like, yeah, man. I mean, like both these guys are very great wrestlers. They've been in the scene for quite a long time, and much like you were saying about Kubrick, is like it seems like both have held I think like a mid-card gold and like Santino's, right? But like nothing like big opportunity, right? So I don't know. We just felt like these two guys could be, could set the tone for the first event, and they did, man. So yeah, again, we got plans for everybody got plans. We'll just say it like that. You know what I mean? There's stuff that we're excited to pull the trigger on for the next show, and yeah, man, it's lots to look forward to. For sure.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. I remember the ending. I was just like, "What? Like they're together?"
That's what you do it. Thank you. I'm so glad. That's what we want.
And it's crazy because the first time we ever seen them wrestle was them against each other a few years ago.
Okay.
So
that's full circle for you guys.
Yeah, they've wrestled quite a few times, but it was like, I don't think they've ever had it with the stakes that high, right? It's like, I don't know. I felt like it was a coming out for both guys, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of people got to see, especially because Lucas, he was talking that talk during that interview we put out. Like he was like, I feel like I'm one of the best wrestlers and nobody gives me credit. And I'm like, yo, I don't think this is a work. I think this guy,
got a little dicey. Like that was that interview. Not to go on and on, but I know that was like a one take, and it was just like, well, let's just use all of it.
Yeah, I was like, we're gonna have to make a video
selling itself, So yeah.
And especially with the next event, for Hard to Earn, you guys there's some returns, you get some wrestlers coming back, but also some new wrestlers. You guys got DKC, Danny Limelight, Violence is Forever, Tyler Bateman, Delight of Doom. What can the fans expect for Hard to Earn?
Man, so Hard to Earn. Again, the first one we were excited because we were like, the first. I'm like this. We could have been like, we'll put it was written out, and then we can die happy and never put out another show. We could just say we did it, right? But no, dude, we were hungry to we're like, I can't wait. Like we gotta feed people like the little seeds for this first show, and then they're not gonna know what's gonna happen to the second show, And
because we almost didn't even announce the next show, but we were like, nah, man, like you could feel the energy. We gotta let them know when we're coming back. And the venue were really pumped, like, hey, when's the next show?
When's the next lock you in? Yeah, man. They really enjoyed it too. But what I will say, that's another thing that we're looking forward to do. Obviously, we have, like we said, we have invested interest in some of I'd say the more, I wouldn't say hopeful, but the mass potential and all the talents that we brought in for the first show, right? But we also want to do a healthy type of rotation. Thank you for like with new faces as well, because we know that some people see a lot of the same people at the same show. So we like to kind of also give ourselves, hey, we got a little bit of variety over here too. You may see him at our show, you don't want to see him at somewhere else. You know what I mean? Because that's what happens a lot of times is like, people, there'll be multiple shows one weekend. So if you don't see a guy at one show, you're like, oh, I'll see him on the Saturday show. You know what I mean? So we kind of want to also bring a little bit of exclusivity to some of our talent. So like, for instance, Violence is Forever, man, that one came together beautifully. We did have something originally planned. Things fell through, but you know what? A lot of things, especially in this business, we learned that things are always gonna, you think it's already set and things always fall through. So you got to have a contingency in place. But Violence is Forever.
What I'll say is wrestlers are funny to deal with.
not all of them, but yeah. It's like, you're like, oh yeah, this is not the normal. Yeah, it's
career path. For sure.
But yeah, Violence is Forever, man. Very well decorated tag team, number 10 on the PWI top tag team list. never been out to the West Coast, let alone California. The first time out, we're able to bring them out, and they're going up against arguably the best tag team. I mean, they proved it against the Wolf Zaddies. They went head up, number one contenders match. We told everyone it was going to be up against a mystery team for the tag team championships, and to be able to go up against, again, our guys with the West Coast Wrecking Crew going up against Violence is Forever, Kevin Koo, Dom Guarini. It's going to be a slugfest, so we're going to be, crowning brand new tag team champions, inaugural tag team champions. So, we only did one champion the first show. We're going to be crowning the mid-card champion as well, P4P championship on the line. And I don't want to,
I don't mind. I mean, because we're gonna be rolling out the match announcement.
I had to catch myself. I was on a roll. I was like, hold on.
I'm waiting for the match announcement, guys. I'm waiting. I'm checking that Instagram every day.
Even like a low key exclusive because we're gonna So you guys, we had what we call qualifying matches, right, for the P4P championship chain.
Yes.
We did have some product photos that we'll say leaked online for legal reasons. And so they have not been seen since, but that's a legit deal. We have a championship chain. It's something that's going to be, I think, a division worth watching, man. It's like really about pound for pound, who's the best that day in the ring for those 3 seconds. But at the same time, who knows? And it's not exclusive to gender. It's not exclusive to
weight class.
Yeah, weight class. Like anyone can come into this division and lay claim to wanting to be pound for pound the best that day. So that's what I love. But so we had some qualifying matches, and what they were qualifying for is for a gauntlet match that we have set. And so that's really the concept of pound for pound. Who is going to be the last man standing
at the end of the day? Pound for pound the champ.
Exactly. So what I can tell you is, I guess sort of 3 of the entrants. It's a 5-man gauntlet, and 2 of those men are Shogun and Cam Gates, who both won their qualifying matches, last show. So they're both in there, with the third actually being a mystery entrant. So that's as much as I can confirm. And we're going to have news on the final 2 entrants this week. So, and the gauntlet is, we have dubbed it the marathon. And so we will see who's the last man standing, on the run to the winner's circle to be called pound for pound the very best champion. And that's probably one of the matches I am the most excited for. A lot of moving parts. Took a while to get here, but come, April 21st, man. Tie your shoes, get ready. You know what I mean? Because
buckle up.
Yeah, that's gonna be quite a match for sure, man. I'm excited to bring that to you guys.
And you did mention Delilah Doom. We're honestly, it's a pleasure to have her. She's gonna be making an appearance for us. She's gonna be, I believe, doing a special appearance. I don't want to give away too much. You're gonna have to, you're gonna have to buy a ticket to figure out what she's gonna be doing. But however, it's gonna be history for us as a company. And again, I say it's an honor and a pleasure because this will be the first women's talent that we had featured for Winner's Circle. If you remember, it was it was all men. On the first show, we obviously aren't here to discriminate against anybody, and want to be able to offer all kinds of entertainment for everybody to enjoy and stuff like that. So that's a little bit of a hint. But yeah, she's gonna be in the house. She's gonna be doing some speaking, I believe. But yeah, I'll leave that to her. But yeah, I mean, we also have Danny Limelight, who, this guy, he obviously been known in the scene for quite some time. He was doing the MLW thing, seen on the AEW quite some time. And I know he some people have their thoughts, on the way he was conducting himself and stuff like that. And the reason I'll speak freely about it is because he himself already spoke about it in a few interviews and stuff like that. But it seems like, again, this guy, he's turning over a new leaf. United Wrestling Network, they put the belt on him. They had him beat Jordan Clearwater. You know what I mean? So
is,
you can't front on him. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
for sure.
And then, but it was almost kind of like a natural thing to want to try to get him involved. Obviously, he has a little bit of ties with Slice, with his time with MLW, but we've dealt with him before with Rival as well. And again, it's hard to deny talent. You know what I mean? So. But yeah, we felt he was a great fit for the second show.
I would say the same thing for exactly what you said, same thing for DKC.
Yeah.
Just talented guy, hard to debate a reason why he shouldn't come in. You know, same thing with Jordan Cruz. Like
Mad time put in.
And that's the thing.
Jordan Cruz.
As we said to ourselves,
Oh,
we
yeah.
want to bring in some fresh faces for the each show if we can manage.
I mean, we know that we have to still tell stories, but we at the same time we're like, again, as fans asking fan questions and like, yeah, but are we going to ask our fans to pay the same amount of money to watch the same faces they just saw a month ago? We got to give them a little something different, for their dollar. Yeah, exactly. So of course we're going to continue with what the seeds that we've already planted, and then we're going to plant some new seeds. And this, like I said, the reason I'm excited for this first year of events is we're getting the ball rolling on a lot of different stuff, and we can, I guess it's almost like having our own little, I mean, not to sound corny, but like our own little MCU. You know what I mean? It's like
because we're riding like almost a year away now.
Yeah,
like that's what's so crazy. It's like we're not even on
we're on it was written
like
too,
right?
Yeah,
the way we're writing right now is like we're writing that far in advance. But that's what's so fun about this, man. So definitely.
Oh, for sure, man. I'm excited for it. I can't wait for her turn. I can't wait for the match announcements. And,
they're coming soon. They're coming soon. I thought but next week?
Next week, yeah.
Next week we're going
to Tuesday and Thursday we'll have some, and then Friday we're actually going to be posting the next matchup from It Was Written. We just posted the Cam Gates, Kevin Blackwood match today on YouTube. So make sure if you guys haven't seen it already, go ahead and follow us YouTube /@WinnerCirclePro. You'll find all you need to know right there. So
it'll take you right to it. Yep.
All right. For sure. And before we wrap up, people that are watching this, what's the message to the fans out there?
I mean, I think it goes back to what we were saying earlier is we want to give the fans a why. Why should you come this Friday? Or why should you spend $20 to come see Dom Kubrick and Slice Book? Like we want to provide a reason to earn your money and earn your trust, as well as because we are a new company, and that goes for the girls and guys in the back too. We want
referees, vendors, everybody,
cameramen, whoever. We want them to see. You guys mentioned about notably feeling like you were treated very well and respectfully. And that's just who we are as people. Is we want to make sure people feel comfortable. And I think that's the best calling card there can be. So I think, whether you're in the ring or in the back, like we're here to give people not only a fun environment to work in or to experience, I think, but with the in-ring, we're trying to bring a type of product that's, I'm not going to sit here and say it's one of a kind and uncanny, but just something fresh. I'm not even going to say something. We just want to, really bring something that you can enjoy, but like I said, that has a why to it. It's not just they're fighting because two the biggest names on the indie scene and they're both big guys. So let's see, and that's a good reason sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
movable objects.
Sometimes that's enough. Yeah, sometimes it's just enough, right? To those two big sons of bitches. Yeah.
And so we definitely want to, while there's room for that on a card, I don't think every card has to be that way. So I think for the fans, if you're looking for something, a reason to enjoy wrestling, because that's what I will say, and I didn't want to really harp on this that much, but one comment we did get after It Was Written, I'm talking like 3 a.m, like that next morning, because that's what time we got home.
Yeah, we were cleaning up like past midnight.
Yeah, chairs, all that stuff, and someone thanked us and said, "Thanks for giving me a reason to fall back in love with independent wrestling."
Oh, that's awesome.
That's the kind of stuff,
Yeah, it was hard to respond. We didn't know what to say to respond to that. You know what I mean? I'm like, whoa, like that.
Nothing I could say measures up to that kind of compliment. But that's exactly what we're looking for, is to give you guys a reason
to give them
another reason to like indie wrestling, especially in the SoCal.
But that feeling too, to be able to leave people with that feeling from one of our shows and continue doing that would probably be the biggest service we can, provide for the industry we're in. Again, we understand that we're still earning our keep in this industry. We're still brand new and stuff like that. But in terms of like, for the fans as well as the workers, man, like, again, like that was the biggest thing is we're not here to make money off the backs of everybody else, dude. Like we see more potential in certain talents than the people that brought them up. So, you know what I mean? There's some people that we feel like, dude, you shouldn't still be here. Or why hasn't anyone given you a microphone? Or like, why haven't you gotten a run with a championship or gotten a chance to show what you would look like in a main event capacity? we're kind of here to try to experience with those things. Because again, we kind of like, again, we've been scouting for so long. We see certain things in certain people. We see strengths that we can try to, take advantage of and Mac, thank you. You know what I mean? And just, hit while the iron's hot. And sometimes things like this happen where, whoa, Dom Kubrick's a main event guy. He's a world champion. Yeah, he's been. And we're going to show you why he's been, you know what I mean? And, that's the best way I could, the best example of how we're hitting the ground running with the way that we see things a little bit different from everybody else. You know what I mean? So, that's all I can say, man. Is like, we don't think we're better than everyone else. We just want to make the product better the way that we think we can. So
we want to contribute. And
that's what it is. Yeah.
Again, if you guys are, anyone's out there open to working, just hit us up, on Instagram or our email is very easy, winnercirclewrestling@gmail.com. Hit us up.
Cool. Awesome, man. Again, guys, thank you so much for being on the pod, man. We had so much fun.
Thank you for inviting us, man.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to want to miss this. Winner Circle Pro Wrestling presents Hard to Earn on April 21st at the American Legion in Chino, California. Tickets are available and they'll be available on Eventbrite, correct?
Yeah, hardtoearn.eventbrite.com right now. $25 for front row, $20 for GA. And that's another thing too. It's like, I don't know if that's really going to change anytime soon, but it's like, we've been to enough wrestling shows and I'm like, dude, we don't want to rake anybody over the coals, man. You know what I mean? Like if you could spare $20 to watch us and you could sit second row, that's fine, dude. You know what I mean? As long as you guys are cool, you're going to have a great time. Again, we got vendors there. We got food there. For those that want to drink, we're going to have some new merch there as well, man. For sure,
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
That's the other stuff that we're waiting to show off, show you guys, like just the next steps we've taken since the first show. But definitely follow us on Instagram at Winner Circle Pro, and on Twitter I think it's
Winner Circle PW.
At Winner Circle PW for all updates, and like we said on YouTube at YouTube.com/at Winner Circle Pro. But yeah, man. Thanks for having us.
Awesome. No, for sure. There you go, ladies. And we'll put everything down in the link down description down below where you can buy your tickets because we're gonna be there. So eventually we suggest you guys grab $20 and buy yourself a ticket because it's a very not gonna want to miss. And also, you guys want to hear cool music, we'll put down the description down below with these two gentlemen. We'll put all the music. And again, ladies and gentlemen, Winner Circle Pro Wrestling, Hard to Earn, April 21st, American Legion Chino. Not gonna want to miss this, guys. Thank you guys so much for being on, and thank you for all the people who've been watching this. We'll see you guys next time here on Championship Online Podcast.
Thanks, man.